This time I'm gonna show you something more in line with my earlier videos, and that is a doll, or rather two dolls. This is the first one. It's finished. You may have seen this in the earlier video about the school projects. I did this for an online course. It was art and creative expression. The last assignment on that course was to create some kind of an artwork or something, basically anything with your hands, and I chose to make a cloth doll. And here you can see a bit more. On that earlier video there was just a couple of pictures, so now I'm showing you the entire doll. This is the first ever cloth doll I have made. I was in the library searching for something else when I came across a book about cloth dolls, and of course I wanted to make one. So I got the book and then ended up making this doll, and well, I'm fairly pleased with it. There are things that I could have done better, but it's good enough for first ever doll, and I'm sure I'll be making another one at some point, but the second doll I'm going to tell you about in this video is a bit different. This is the book I got from the library, and the doll on the right is the one I used as a basis for my own. There were 3 different projects in the book, and this was the most complicated one, so I took this as a basis and then took the head and hands from a simpler project, because I didn't want to start with a complicated head. After returning the book to the library, I wanted to buy a book of my own, and I found this. It's a different kind. Like it said, it's about faces, but there are patterns for entire dolls and all the instructions, so you got everything you need in this one book. But like you see, there are just so wonderful faces in this book, and instructions how to make them, like here. And this, like this Oberon, this is just fantastic. So look at this. I don't expect to ever be able to make something like this, but yeah. And this, I just love this. It's wonderful. But the one I really liked is a bit simpler. Let's see if we can find it. It's here. This. I like this simple structure. You see, there are no legs, but this doll, it can stand on its own very well, and I just like this style. So I took this as a basis, and I'm designing my own doll using the pattern for this one, and I'm making somebody you may recognize if you're a metal fan. And I'll be showing what I've got so far in just a moment. I have just started this project, so I'm not very far in it yet, but I've got the basics for the doll here, and the next thing he needs is facial features and hair and arms. And the main problem I'm having at the moment is figuring out how to get tattoos into his right arm, because I don't think I can draw those. I haven't been able to find good enough pictures to get an idea of what the tattoos are like, so I'll probably just make something that give an idea that his arm is tattooed, but aren't really sort of true to the nature, because with a doll like this you just need to give it the characteristics of the person you're trying to make, and it doesn't really need to be exactly true to the nature. Just give you the idea of who it is. The beard and hair are now in place, as are these metal plates in the vest. Well, of course they're not metal, this is fabric, but it's silver colored fabric, so it looks enough like metal. And the beard is too thick, but this piece, it was a nightmare to turn the right side out, and I couldn't have done any thinner, so it's too wide, too thick, well, whatever is the correct adjective for that. And the next pieces are waiting here. There are arms, so this is going to be a tattooed arm. Well, it's an arm with some black ink, so it will have to do. And these are the sunglasses. The picture, well, it's actually flowers, but I thought it looks nice. It's like a reflection of fireworks or something, so I decided to use it. And these are ears, and nose and hands, and they need to be first cut off the excess and then turn them the right side around. And these are really nightmare to sew, like all these turns, and then if you look at this nose, it's a bit wonky, but well, it is what it is. But just getting all these corners and curves and everything done in this size, it's not something I really enjoy, but well, it's a challenge, so yeah. And this wasn't so bad. It's an ear, and it's just in those curves you need to go one stitch at a time, very slowly. So those are the next ones. Just cut off the excess, turn them around, and then put some filling in and sew them in place on the doll. The doll is finished now, but first I'm going to show you these hands. This is the first pair, and as you can see, there's almost no thumbs. It's so hard to sew something this small accurately. So these were discarded, and then there's a second pair. Here this is slightly better, but those stitches separating the fingers are messy. I didn't like them at all, and as you can see here, this is really small, and then these two are really wide, and that pinky is odd. So I didn't like these hands either. And the final hands aren't really much better, but they'll have to do this. And there's again too small, this finger. The stitch should have been somewhere here, but it's done, and it isn't perfect, and it's the first one of this type, so I'll just leave it like that and try to make the next one better. And here you can see how the arms are attached. There are buttons here, and the thread is going through here, and for that you should have really long needle. As you can see, it goes all the way through. I had problems with the first doll because I didn't have long enough needle, and I had to squeeze it really hard to get the needle through and to manage get hold of the needle on the other side. So after that I bought this long needle, and this works much better. And this actually is meant for making dolls. There was a set of 3 needles of different lengths, and I think this is the longest one. It should be okay for the kind of dolls I want to make. So he's finished, and well, I can't really help. It's just laughing when I look at this. It's so silly, and there was something odd with the pattern, because this arm here, it was supposed to be just the upper arm, but this, if you add lower arm here and then the hand, it's just way too long. I don't know what went wrong. Maybe he was supposed to be higher, but I used the patterns from the book, so I don't know what the problem is. I'll need to figure that out for the next one. And of course I can always make the patterns for arms myself, just use what I think looks the right length. But well, this is now what it is, and oh well, quite funny. could be worse, I guess, but not much.